welcome back to another LoreLink stream. Tonight we are going to be working on planning. We're doing a one planning session for a D&D 5th Ed adventure, Crashing Winterfest, which we're going to be doing the actual play on Friday. So go ahead and set aside some time on Friday afternoon to come back here and watch the team play together. It's Dumpstat Adventures produces Crashing Winterfest. It's a fun looking game, so I'm really looking forward to it. And it is totally holiday themed, so that's going to be really exciting. I've already gotten a kickstart on some setups, so let me walk through that here for you. Crashing Winterfest. I got the campaign in here, got a couple images set up. I threw some images in so that we can be in good shape to start producing all of this. So thanks, Tony. Glad to hear that voice and captions are working well. All right, let's get into some planning here. Let me pop these open side by side so that I can see what I am doing. Cool. All right, so we've got the basic campaign kicked off. I need to do some planning work. I think that I'm actually going to start with some of the player characters. So let's switch LoreLink into edit mode here and get this kicked off. I have already created a template for the characters that they're going to be playing. So we're going to pull one of these out. Who is first? We're going to do, oh boy, Kling Ribsass. Do not mispronounce that because there's so many ways that could come out inappropriate. Kling Ribsass. All right, so it's going to be based upon this goblin character template. We're going to link that, confirm. Now, give that his name. We don't have images for these, so no problems. We'll go ahead and unlock the player name. That short description remains, I believe, the same. Double check really quickly. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. There we go. I'm going to edit the description now. I went ahead. I picked up the physical book at HoosierCon this year, I believe. So I've been planning this for a minute. And I went ahead this week and picked up the PDF to make my life a little bit easier here. But I really like having the physical books. So just for fun, there's it's just a little guy, but more than sufficient for a nice one-shot. It is your character we're working on first there, 20, absolutely. Nothing like a little rib sass. There we go. Get the description, physical description, put the backstory in here. All right. Yeah, so definitely pay attention during this section. You're going to want to read through this backstory and everything, you know. All right. Not be mistaken. All right, recently. That becomes a new paragraph. Perfect. So that's there. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then I'm going to open it back up and finish editing now that I've got that description in place. We've got this quick reference here, so we're going to go ahead and enable that. So the way the templates work, you'll notice how these are locked by default. What the lock means is that it's going to keep the data here in sync with the template. So if I have this locked and I were to change the short description inside of the template, it'll keep it updated here as well. So It makes it so that you can have changes in one place propagate to lots of different objects if you want to, but I can still choose things that get customized. So in this particular case, I'm going to share the existence of these things with the players. I'm going to go ahead and unlock it though, because I'm definitely going to want to be able to fully share this potentially. All right, so we're going to give this an AC of 16. And give this hit points of 16, speed of 30. Realize that when I set up the hit points, maybe I should have. I need to show current hit points, but I need to show hit dice probably. That's fine. This is just a one shot, or I'm not going to worry about it, but I'm just going to do the bonuses on the stats. Probably could have made those zeros by default, but that's fine. Dex +4, int +8. All right. Interesting. So int is your best saving throw, but not the best stat. That's fascinating. All right. Skills. Put in some skizzles. Nature +8. Perception +4. Survival +4. And stealth +4. Perfect. DR cold. Standard senses. Languages. You're going to add Gnomish as a language. Ranger 2. Ribsass is a Ranger 2 and the proficiency 2. Alright, we've got a couple. Abilities. I got Favorite Enemy and Arctic Explorer. Sweet. So then we're going to have some actions. There's a few options here. Got a hand axe. Oops. Got a longbow. And then we've got spell casting. Then Beast's Bond gets italicized, and Hunter's Mark gets italicized. This is italicized, and this is boom. Okay, and then we have equipment. Looks like they didn't. Okay, we got the scale mail. Scale mail was listed under armor class, but not under equipment for whatever reason. So we'll add it there, and then we can save. So now if I show in view mode, we have character details, the physical description, the backstory. Oh, the quick reference. I forgot to fill out the quick reference. Let's edit that real quick. Quick reference. There we go. Bonds and then the flaws. Go. Now we'll save it again and go into view mode again. So there's the quick reference. Then we've got all the different stats, the different areas. We've got our abilities, actions, and equipment. Perfect. So that's the first character. And we'll go ahead and close this out and open up the next. See, if you already read the PDF, see, you don't need to pay attention here. You got this. All right, go ahead and do the next one. Go ahead and add. I'm going to go edit again. We're going to add another player. I'm going to base this on the album character template. Confirm. This is Kedix Grobs. Chaotic neutral, yes. Chaotic neutral, that's going to be fun. Can't wait to have a campaign full of chaotic neutral characters. What could possibly go wrong? Boost the music a little bit. It's a kind of a techno-y, Christmassy vibe type of music. I don't know. It's interesting. Put in the backstory. Darkened. Ooh, okay. So, with the holidays coming up, does everybody play a lot of games during the holidays? Do you tend to take a break from your games during the holidays? Or do you double down on stuff? I find that people are either ridiculously busy and don't have time, or have nothing but time this point of the year. My Steam account tells me that I get the most achievements in my video games between about mid-November and the end of December, so clearly I've got some sort of weird trend going on. Sometimes things change over time too. There's 1 strength, little weakling, but 2 dex. 1 con, 0 int. A little bit above average overall, but -1 strength. That's not a -1 int, that's a 0. What am I? Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm hitting the up arrows accidentally, which makes perfect sense because these are numbers and they're scroll wheels. All right, saves. We've got con +3, charisma +4, con +2, deception +4, and stealth +4. Cold. Perception's not quite as good as average. We do add a language of Gnomish. And the class is Sorcerer. Fun. A couple abilities to put in. The Font of Magic. And then, of course, as a sorcerer, we get sorcery points. Quicken spell or empowered spell, we're going to go ahead and there's a list. good. And then we'll do actions. So surprise zombie. Oh goodness, not a surprise zombie. That would be terrible. Oh, surprise clowns. No, I refuse. I veto surprise clowns. No, forget that nonsense. All right, so I will really quickly show you my full screen here for just a second so you can see better what I'm doing. I am currently copying some of these items right out of the book. It's just a little bit easier to have it side by side. Alright, cantrips. At will. Good times. Chill touch. We have frost. We have the first level spells. Kind of tempted. Halfway tempted to link these to the to an SRD for reference, but there we go. We've got a philosophy book that you keep on you. That's cool. There's no armor to speak of, so there we go. Clearly there's a dagger as equipment, but that's listed as a weapon, so that's fine. Save that. Back up to the players, so we've got 2 of them in. Alright, so this is not quite as interesting as some of the other things I could be doing, but I've gotten 2 of the 5 possible characters in. That's how we're doing it. We're just popping them in right out of the template, so it's pretty straightforward to put those in. Once we've got that template in place. So the template itself is pretty straightforward. I've gone ahead and stubbed out what these fields look like, and then I've created all these custom fields here. So that's that. Going to go ahead now, and we're going to fill out some of the additional details. So I'll go ahead and switch back off of this one and show you just Lorelink for a second, make my life a little bit easier. I'm pretty sure I've seen that surprise zombie clip 20, and that is a scream for the record books. If it's the clip I'm remembering. Drinking my Christmas beverage. All right. Adventure outline, how this started, running the adventure in 3 parts. Okay. Go ahead and launch some events here. So, Event 1, Crunkus Speaks. Go ahead. I'll start here, and then we'll maybe fill in some other details in a minute. Okay. Short description, not so much. Here's the description. This section is all, I like to put it in a quote formatting because I like to, it tells me the things that I need to read aloud, so. Formatting, like so. And we'll do this here. I have, oh goodness. It has come to my divine attention that there is a magical artifact of great and horrible power in the nearby gnome village. For this reason, I have declared that I am worthy of such an item. Wow. You have 2 days to bring me back the presents and their magical sack that creates them. Okay. Good times, good times. How could that possibly be taken wrong? It's the party, in addition, element. Once the party has their mission, blah, blah, blah. Treasure. I don't know that I believe in treasure. Do you like treasure? Maybe treasure's a good thing. I should probably give out treasure. See, role-playing Crunkus the Magnificent for more information. Okay. So we're going to create this event. Straight to jail, I agree. All right. Okay, role-playing Crunkus the Magnificent is a... We're going to create that as a tag. That is definitely a tag. And this is a whole bunch of detail that I'm going to be able to put in different places. So we're going to add the description here. Okay, is that? Oh yeah. Crunkus is known by many names. Crunkus the Magnificent. At every opportunity, and then flattery will get you everywhere. Okay. So we're going to do this as a tag so that we end up with all this information in here. We're not going to share that with players, but what we are going to do is go back to this event and we're going to tag it with role-playing Crunkus the Magnificent. That means that when I'm running the game, I'll be able to click through to see these notes anywhere, and any place that it tells me, hey, how should you role-play Crunkus the Magnificent, I can tag it and it'll show up. Now, we had a character show up, the Supply Master. So we're going to create a character. Checking something really quickly. So we're going to go to characters. We're going to create a new character. It's going to be an NPC. Elena, this is the Supply Master. See, female goblin. Good enough. We got a description, which is this, which is from the rules of the other location. Okay. Let's do Elena. I'm going to say Elena. And then we're going to go back to the event and attach Evelina to this. So the lore. All right. Okay. Boom. So that's the first event. It looks like I also have Crunkus in here. So Crunkus the Magnificent. So we're going to have a couple locations also. So I'm going to create a location of Ice Crack. Yes, yes, Ice Crack. We're starting an Ice Crack. Let's see if there's any. This is the Great Goblin Stronghold. Okay, and then within Ice Crack, we're going to have another location. Other location is the throne room. Boom. Okay, so now I have Ice Crack in the throne room. And then I also need to go ahead as a character. I need to create Crunkus the Magnificent. Now I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that there's a few things here. So the image is here, Crunkus. Okay, so Crunkus the Magnificent. Let's see, I've got details on Crunkus Summer, but I will also go ahead and tag Crunkus with role-playing Crunkus. That makes sense, right? I believe there are specs on Crunkus at the bottom. Ah, okay. All Ice Crack goblins have the same basic stuff. Knits. There's our characters. Ah, okay. That's just for these guys. Where are the specs for... Oh, I actually apparently don't have stats for Crunkus. Ice Crack goblins. Oh, there's some additional things I could fill in for the template I had missed. Ice Crack goblins have specific goblin traits, one of which is age. Goblins from Ice Crack rarely live long, mostly because they often freeze to death or are kicked out into the wild ice for questioning Crunkus the Magnificent. Crunkus is said to be over 15 years old, and no one thinks they can live longer than that. Most goblins reach maturity around 8. Alignment. It's a hard life in Ice Crack, and no one can be blamed for shoving another goblin off a frozen cliff so you can get their stuff. Most goblins in Ice Crack are evil with chaotic tendencies, though they are forced to follow the law by Crunkus the Magnificent or walk into the wild ice. Oh, goodness. Goodness. Okay. All right, we'll have to figure that out. I need to figure out how I'm going to get that copied, but it doesn't look like there's actually specs for Crunkus at all, so I don't know that I need... It's fine. So we're going to Role-playing Crunkus the Magnificent. Yeah. Go ahead and copy that. And we're going to open a new thing here. So we're going to go ahead and fill in some stuff for Crunkus. I'm going to pull some of this stuff in. Go ahead and duplicate some of that stuff there. And it's tied to the role-playing tag, so that's cool. So that's good. Now we're going to come back into the event, and we're going to add Crunkus into the event. Crunkus. Boom. Okay. So we have the very first event, which is listed, and that is the thing that kind of kicks off the adventure. Now, there's one other thing that I want to do. So this is going to be super cool. I'm excited about this. So I'm going to create an event, which is going to be the adventure outline. I've never been able to do this. This is a new feature that is now available. So this is description that I posted on the campaign itself. All right. So we're going to come into here, the event list, and we're going to add this description. How this started. This stuff in, and there. Then we're going to do the outline for the adventure, running the adventure. Crunkus's orders. Invasion of Wintertime, and then fight with Santa. Okay, we're going to do Crunkus's orders, put those in here. And then part 2. Part 3, and then one last section in here, which is assembling the Goblin Squad. Kind of torn on if I want this in the adventure outline or if I just want this all in the top level of the campaign. I'll leave it here for now. I'm actually going to move that in here. That's a great point. All right, I'm going to leave all this in here, running the adventure. We got the 3 parts. Preview this. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to come back into this event list. Here's the part that's brand new. I've never been able to do this before. We're going to do part 1. And we're going to copy the description for part 1. That and save this. Now, I have part 1. Here's the thing that I've never been able to do before. I can change this to part and I can come into the events, and now I have an event hierarchy. So I'm going to be able to put the part 1 events inside of the part 1 inside of the events list in the hierarchy, which means that now they're connected together, and I can actually really easily organize the events and encounters and things inside of LoreLink the exact same way that they're presented and organized in the book. Previously, I had no way of organizing them hierarchically, so I had to rely on naming convention for that. So this, to me, is super exciting, and I'm really happy about it. So now I can do things like this. I'm going to add this description here. This in like so. What is a skill challenge? This is a specific skill challenge. Limited skills for the challenge. The following skills are used a number of times. Okay, wisdom, perception, blah, blah, blah. Fold that. And then these characters. Okay. So we're going to do these. Wisdom survival, wisdom perception, constitution, and the info for each of those. So we're going to how many times can each skill be used? Okay. We're going to save this for a second. I'm going to have to come back to this, I think. So what we're going to do is create a new tag as I read through this resource. So what is a skill challenge? So we're going to create a skill challenge tag, and then here's information about what a skill challenge is. And we're going to put that in here. So basically, a skill challenge is very similar to something that exists in Pathfinder, which is the idea that you must complete a certain number of non-combat skill checks in order to progress through a section, effectively. So what this says, what is a skill challenge? A skill challenge is a challenge for the party who must rely on their skills rather than their raw power or combat abilities. It is more than a simple obstacle to overcome. It requires multiple successful checks utilizing a variety of different skills before a party can succeed. Smart gameplay, unique ideas, and well-rounded party skills are often required to succeed at these challenges. Typical skill challenges can be won by using a wide variety of skills, and it is up to the game master to determine if the skill a character wants to use has a chance of succeeding. The character's player must explain why they think their skill should work in any situation. If the game master is unconvinced, they may decide the player must use a different skill, roll to disadvantage, or against a higher DC, or all three. So we've got this specific challenge, but this is the info. So what we're going to do is come back here and into the Wild Ice Expedition. We're going to flag that as a skill challenge, so I can easily look that reference up later if I need to. Now inside of here, I have the read aloud for the Wild Ice Expedition. And then I have multi-step skill challenge and then limited skills for this challenge there. So these are the, there's a few ways that I can do this, but what I think I'm going to do The base DC at each stage is based on the dangers of that stage. So there's limited skills for the challenge. So what we're going to do is add this to the child description. You're going to see why in a second. So these are going to be the different skills that can be used with the information on each one. Go ahead and clean up the copy paste out of PDFs kind of screws with the formatting a little bit. So this is just going to make my life a little bit easier. Since this is something that's going to get referenced a lot, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is going to go into the child description. The rest of the information about the expedition stays at the top level. So what we're going to do is save this. And again, I'm going to take advantage of the hierarchical nature of this so that I can come into the event 2. This is done as a multi-stage, it's a 3-stage challenge. So we're actually going to put each stage as its own separate encounter. Stage 1, the wild ice sheets. And so we're going to put all the details in here. So ability check DC 12, bold, unless using perception or survival, italics. And then we also have inspiration. So to get inspiration, the party must travel through the slick ice sheets and climb up sheer cliffs to reach the tundra. They might use intelligence history to recall a favorite route, or use intelligence arcana to remember the goblin sorcerer blew themselves up not too far away, creating a great way to climb the half-melted cliff. I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Nope, that's not it. Inspiration. It doesn't specifically say what the inspiration means here. Presumably that is the things that would give the characters inspiration. Requirements. It requires 2 successes from the party to move on to the next stage. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to show something off. When I click into stage 1 and view it in view mode, you'll note that I see the rules from the Wild Ice Expedition that I put in the child description. So I can see what the skills are, the information about each of those skills right here next to the stage 1 information that tells me what the actual ability check is and the other different things they can do. Okay, so I would argue that these things would give probably advantage to some of the other roles, but then here's the roles you might use. Requires 2 successes, okay. DC 12 unless using perception or survival. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come in here to the events, and we're going to add the other stages. So we're going to go back to edit. We're going to add stage 2. Frozen Tundra. So start with the wild ice sheets, move on to the frozen tundra. Requirements. Ability check, DC 15. Okay, inspiration. You must use strength athletics. All right. Have to clean this up because then I can bold this. Strength athletics, climb large or dex stealth to hide. For intelligence, nature, boom. We have inspiration, we have requirements, at least 3 successes. So we go on to the next stage, cool. Save this. And once again, when I come in here and preview it, you get the notes from the parents there. So it shows up everywhere. without any additional effort, which is so cool. I love the hierarchy system. It's going to make my life so much better when planning out stuff like this. Okay, stage 3. Put this in the description, and this also. Formatting. Okay. Clean up the copy paste issues because PDFs. We're going to go ahead and follow the convention inside of the book itself to bold these skills to make them easier to spot when we're reading. Sweet, save. And then we're going to add a conclusion stage. It requires 6 successes to arrive at Winterton, and every ability check the party increases the amount of time by an hour. Party fails 8 times in a stage, they automatically stumble into the next stage by sheer accident. I feel like that's information that I actually need at a higher level than this. If they fail 8 times on each stage, they have spent 24 hours stumbling across the wild ice and by some miracle arrive in Winterton with a severe time deficit. Nice. Okay. So we'll save that. I'm going to do one other thing then. I'm going to go ahead and come into Wild Ice Expedition. And add this as a note to the child description. As a note so that I don't forget about that while I'm actually running it. It'll show up everywhere that way. I'm going to add the random encounters, but I'm going to actually do it as a tag. So random encounters for the wild ice. Actually, do I want this as a tag? No, I'm not going to do that as a tag. I'm actually going to do that here. I'm going to ignore this note. I'm just going to add the random encounters. Random encounters. The party fails a check, roll a d20. On a 16 or higher, the party stumbles across a random encounter. Boom. If they succeed and move on to the next stage, roll a d20 and they might have a random encounter. Yeah. And then we'll add the encounters here. So we're going to put in a table. We'll do D12 and encounter. Okay, then maybe 12, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 10. encounters like so. Oops. I accidentally did too much. There we go. My double-click game is apparently not great. Oh, the yelling in the background of the song. Yeah, it was a little odd. Sometimes I wonder what's going on with Pretzel. I will probably not do too many random encounters. My thinking with random encounters is if you feel the need to make the adventure through the ice feel more dangerous, or if it's becoming too easy, or when you need a little poke, you can pull in start pulling in some random encounter rolls. Okay. Save this, and now we have the Wild Ice Expedition with all the different stages, including the conclusion and the random encounters in place. So that is actually all of part 1. Done. Okay, so then part 2 is the invasion of Winterton. So we'll go ahead and create a new part, a new event, part 2. Here. There we go. And there we go. Going to then add I'm going to add here. View Winterton. So what we're going to do is come into locations. We're going to add Wild Ice, which is probably honestly where I should have put the random tables. So I'm going to maybe fix that in a minute. And then we're going to add one more location, which is going to be Winterton Village. Okay. And we're going to edit the village and do this like so. We're going to have the read aloud text quoted like so. For 8 a.m. So that tells me a little something. Okay, you can watch. Sneaking into Winterton. All right, some options for that. So this. Following options are merely recommendations. Yeah, believe me, with these players, this is kind of a joke, but that's fine. Okay, so there's a time limit. Good times. Distraction anytime. For a stampede. I like the fact that they give me a lot to work with, though, in terms of ways to run different things, like a lot of different ways you might approach this, because it makes it so much less work as a GM to guide the party when you've got that level of detail in here. Winterton schedule. I think I'm going to actually create that as a tag because I want to be able to pop it out separately more than anything else. So we're going to put this here, Winterton schedule. So let me share my screen really quickly so you can see what I'm looking at. Inside of the PDF, so right now I've got the Invasion of Winterton, Part 1, Winterton Village. I've already put all this stuff in. You've seen me enter that. But now I've got this. So these are the ways in that it was talking about. So you saw me put those in. But now I've got this schedule. So it's this nice table showing the schedule of events for when they're watching. And so that you kind of know what's happening at any given point in time based upon what the player's trying to do. So I've got to get this in somewhere because I want to try to have everything inside of Link. So let me drop that into this tag inside of the description. We're going to put it here, and it is the Winterton schedule. We've got time, noticeable events. Got day 1, and then we've got a bunch of times. So we're gonna do 12 a.m. Oh, so they're gonna depart Ice Crack at 12 a.m. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to come to the campaign. All right, we're going to add something to the campaign. We're actually going to add a custom field to the campaign. And this is going to be the current time. And this is going to be, let's make this short text. Players are going to be able to see this. And looking through the first part, does it actually say what time it is with your reach? Okay, Summer Goblin Squad. Focus's orders. When are you summoned? Ah, okay. Beginning this journey at 12 a.m. midnight. Okay. So we're going to say that the current time is day... Technically, it's day 0 because I think day 1 starts there. So the current time is day 0, 11 p.m. That's when they're going to get called in front of Krunkus. And they will kick off at day 1 midnight. So I'll leave this as custom field here so that when I'm in view mode here, I'm going to be able to see, we're going to track time as things progress. So every time they move through the wild ice, we're going to increase this time and be able to keep tabs on that. That gives me a way of doing that. So back to edit. So we'll finish with this. Oops. No! I screwed up this. I closed the schedule accidentally. That was my bad. Let's create this schedule again. Tag. Winterton schedule. Going to, this is time. This is noticeable events. This is day 1. Day 2, and day 3. Under day 3, we're going to have just one thing, which is 12 a.m. And it is this. Okay. Italicized. Go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 p.m. 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 p.m. 1, 5, 6, 7, 10. Not every hour is accounted for, and that's fine. 5 p.m. Okay. And then day 2 is going to have 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And then 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 10 p.m., and 11 p.m. Okay, now we can save this, and we'll go ahead and edit the schedule now with the text. This will allow me to, then I can tag, because it's a tag, I'll be able to link this anywhere I need to. See event 3, for example. Bell goes off, the gnomes leave the workshop for lunch. For 1 hour. Nice. Bell goes off, the gnomes leave the workshop for the day, right at 5. Man, I wish I could do that. 7. What am I saying? I get to hang out with you all on that was weird. Okay. I get to hang out with you all here, so I have no complaints. Intoxicated and in good spirits. What? It's 1 p.m. 4 p.m. The almost finished making presents and begin celebrating. Sweet. All I'm saying about this adventure is that I think that the Grinch would be a good guy here. Last possible hour. Okay, so we're gonna save this and we're gonna preview this really quickly. Nice. Oops, I need to fix some text. 6 p.m. I see, there we go. Alright, what in the world? It is being really weird. There we go. There's a view. There we go. Much better. Those are pretty obvious. Save that, preview that. There we go, perfect. So we're actually gonna do something. Kind of the day 1, day 2, day 3 thing. They don't actually wrap, I'm not sure why, but let's fix that. There we go. Day 3, day 1, day 2, day 3. We've got the times, got the text. Now I've got the Winterton schedule, so I can add the schedule here to event or to tag Winterton schedule. Cool. And I can also add this to Winterton Village, which is the location here. Winterton Village gets a tag of Winterton schedule. Perfect. So now we have the watching Winterton, the sneaking into Winterton, the different things you can do to do that, alongside all this stuff. Okay, that now matches everything in this part 2. Perfect. Everything on how to sneak in, all that detail, all that information. We have the location of Winterton Village in here now, and I'm going to also, I need to add a map. So I'm going to add a, think about this for a second. So I want them to see the existence of this, but that's it. I'm kind of torn because I really want to share the map of Winterton Village. But at the moment, I can share all or nothing. So I can either share the map and that description I just typed in, or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the GM map of Winterton Village here. Okay. And that is the Winterton Village schedule, all the detail. Okay. And then I'm going to create a duplicate location, which I know seems a little weird. I'm going to call this a player handout, And I'm going to give it a description of, from the book. Give them that description. There's no reason the players can't have that. And then I'm going to make this fully shared. Okay, I'm going to save this, and so they're going to have access to this player handout, and I'm going to add the map that is the player version and save this. So now, when I'm in preview mode, it's going to show the whole holding image, but there is the image. That's the whole village, all the different places they can go. With all of the details. Now, when I come in here, GM one is going to give me the GM version of the map. The GM version of the map. Oh, that's the wrong. Hold on. I chose poorly. That's the wrong. I need to edit. I need to remove the map. That is the wrong map, my friends. Change image. Yeah. I need the, there's the GM map. Insert that. That's what I meant to add. Save that. Now, perfect. It's a little oversized, but that's fine. So go to preview mode. Pop this up, and now you'll see the GM version gives me letters over all the different locations that are inside of Winter that they can go to. So the GM version gives me that, but the player handout version won't have that. As a player, they'll be able to see that Winterton Village exists, but not see this other stuff, okay? So Wild Ice, I'm gonna go ahead and add to this tag for the skill challenge. No, that's the wrong tag. I'm going to. Oh right, that was over here in the events. That was the random table. So with the events, we're going to go to part 2. We're going to go to here. Random encounters. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go into the Wild Ice location. I'm going to paste this. So I have random encounters for Wild Ice. I'm going to save that. Then this Wild Ice Expedition is going to get attached to the location of Wild Ice. Because that's where this whole thing is happening. All of Event 2, Wild Ice Expedition, is happening in Wild Ice. And for fun, I can go ahead and attach all of these stages in here. So they're all going to be attached to Wild Ice. Just for fun, because I'm already in here, what I can do is go to the Wild Ice, and I can actually do this in reverse. I can say, hey, I'm attached to Event 2, Stage 1 to Stage 3. Stage 1 to Stage 2, I can do Stage 3. Associate it there, boom. Now we're all connected. Okay, so now I have, let's recap really quickly where we're at with the campaign, because it's not so obvious. I'm going to do this in view mode because it's a little easier to walk through it, and I'll close the extra tabs. So we have the campaign details, the icon. That's, I don't know if that's, I think that's supposed to be Kronkus. Yes, that's Kronkus. And then this is the Winterton Village, which is kind of the cover art for the book. Info on how this adventure gets started, an overview of the three parts of the thing, assembling the Goblin Squad. So this is putting your players together, right? We have created 2 player characters out of the 5 that are available, and we've created those from this template that we've put together. We have some locations in here, so we have Ice Crack, which has the throne room, and then we also have the Winterton Village, which we're going to be adding some things to, but right now we have Winterton Village, which is visible to the players. Actually, Ice Crack would also be visible to the players, just the existence shared. And additionally, we're going to say the wild ice. They would know about the wild ice. So the existence of wild ice is shared, but we're not going to share all the details. So we have all these things are shared. The players can see that these places exist, but they can't view any details on them. What they will be able to see details on is this Winterton Village player handout, which is going to include the player version of the map and a basic description of the location. Okay. In addition to the locations, we have some characters in here. We have Crunkus the Magnificent, and we have Ulina, who's the supply master. I don't even know that Crunkus has this level of detail, but it's fine. It's Crunkus the Magnificent. He doesn't need any further explanation. We have some tags. We have a role-playing tag on how to role-play Crunkus the Magnificent, so we can tag any place he's going to appear with that information. We have the skill challenge information about skill challenges, and we have the schedule of Winterton. And finally, we have the events. The events are hierarchical, so all the events in part 1 are here. All the events in part 2 are going to go into here. Okay, cool. I have still a little bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the events for part 2. We have built out all the high-level stuff, so now it is time for event 3. So event 3 is Santa's announcement. Format this like so. Cool. Okay, so we're going to save this. That is happening in Winterton. So part 2 should be associated with Winterton, and it is not. We're going to associate it with Winterton. Oh, no, wrong. The actual town, Winterton Village location. So associated with Winterton Village. I'm also going to go ahead and attach the player handout here. So put that in, and I'm also going to come into event 3 Santa's announcement, and this is going to get attached to the village, Winterton Village location. So there's a little sidebar here in the PDF, resting in Winterton. What does that look like? So I'm going to go ahead and create that as a tag. Resting in Winterton. Which is fair. I mean, I can see lots of reasons that the players might need to be able to rest. Maybe they, had a really hard time getting across the ice, or maybe bad things happen while here, Resting in Winterton, preview that, cool. So now, resting in Winterton, I'm going to go ahead and add this to Winterton Village. We're going to tag this with resting in Winterton. I'm also going to go now into this Santa's, not Santa's announcement per se, but part 2 event. It's going to get tagged with resting in Winterton. Santa's announcement, they're not going to sleep through that. Okay, event 4. Exploring, okay. So event 4 is really just grouping together the fact that you're going to be exploring around Winterton, which I don't know that. What is Santa's announcement? Santa's announcement's going to happen. Is that on the schedule? So if the party can arrive before 8 a.m., you get a chance to witness a special event take place between Santa and the Gnome. See Event 3 for more information. Okay, so I'm going to do two things. I'm going to actually edit Santa's announcement. I'm going to italicize that because I want to remember that they don't witness this if they don't arrive before 8 a.m. They will miss this entirely. So this is an optional section. And then I'm also going to go in here to the parent, and inside of the parent, I believe it's where did I put that? 1 second. Review Winterton Village. Yeah, okay. I'm going to put this information here. See Event 3 for more information. We're going to save this. We're actually going to make sure that Event 3 is specifically associated here because that was called out. Now, that means that I probably need to go to Winterton Village and that information doesn't need to be inside of Winterton Village. Okay. Cool. Good to have that cleaned up. That was weird. Okay. That's part 2. Okay, cool. That's an announcement. So now we're going to go into part 3, or Event 3, or Event 4, sorry. I keep saying the same wrong thing. Event 4, locations within Winterton, which is where we're going to be able to learn more about the different locations. So, up to the party to determine how they will invade Winterton and sneak past gnome patrols. Head-on charge will simply end up with the goblins overwhelmed by guards, massive reindeer, and even Santa Claus himself. The following locations are keyed to the Winterton map. Save this, and now I'm going to go create a new tag because another one came up, which is Dead Goblins. Despite the best laid plans, goblins may die during this adventure. Instead of forcing a player to sit out for the rest of the adventure, you can choose from one of the suggestions below or devise your own way to handle this situation. Like that. They allow for that. And that's one of the fun things about one-shots, honestly, is you don't get super attached to your characters, especially like really like kitschy thematic ones like this. It's just there to have a good time. You don't necessarily care if your goblin dies. It's not the end of the world. You can move on with other things. There's other options, right? So that's kind of cool. All right. Locations. Okay, so now we've got all the different locations inside of Winterton. So I'm going to come in here to locations. So in Winterton, let's go ahead and add locations into Winterton. So we're going to just add this one at a time. "29 gnome homes. Each home is largely the same. Alright, they've got those things. So let's go into the gnome home. And we actually have a map of what a gnome house looks like. Typical gnome house. So we have a map there. Cool. And that looks good. So we're going to okay, so we're going to edit this. We're going to actually add an H1 Santa's home because Santa's home is a gnome house. It just happens to be a special one. Okay, in all other regards, this house is just like a gnome home. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make a note of that, and we will, inside of here, reference it back to gnome home. Even though they're hierarchically related, now they're connected. Okay. All right, we've got a pond. Pond. Why is there pee in the pond? No, never mind. There's always pee in ponds. Death gums aren't much fun. Yes, 20. I'm sorry. I'm so inappropriate. On thin ice. Ah. Am I on thin ice? Maybe. This year the ice is a bit thin. Possible saving throws, some possible treasure. The item is the property of Santa Claus and is a ring of animal influence that he uses on the reindeer when they start acting out. This is just so brilliantly written. I love it. Just fun. Save that. H and P. I'm going to do one more. We've got R, the Winterfest tree. Let's add that. I think there may actually be an image in the PDF that I can snag. The Winterfest tree. Is there? Oh, yes. Okay. Will it save correctly? I don't know. Find out if that worked or not. Oh, it did. Perfect. So I'm gonna, just for fun, add an image, upload a new image, Winterfest tree. Our description and save that. If I can upload and then insert that image. Okay, Winterfest tree now. This tree is covered in a whole bunch of ornaments. It feels a little bit problematic. Okay, the goblin wishes to climb the tree. Yeah, obviously, like... Strength athletics, or dex acrobatics. Those are the two ways you can do it, of course. Why wouldn't they want to climb the tree? How does that even make sense? You met these people? Okay. Development. There's a dex stealth check. Spot any goblins? Yeah. Getting spotted might be bad. There's treasure. Okay. And we'll save that. So within Winterton Village, we have the Winterfest tree, which is the tree. Description, all the information on how to do things, development, stuff that can happen. Cool. Let's do one other little thing while we're in here. Let's go to Winterton Village, my version, and we're going to scroll out just a little bit. Okay, cool. We're going to edit mode. That's right, edit mode. I would like to go here, H1. This is Santa's home. All the other H's are gnome homes. These are all gnome homes. Interesting, okay. There's more H's, okay. More gnome homes. More gnome homes. Okay. We have a P for a pond. We have another gnome home. Thinking I maybe should have put a downscaled, slightly smaller version of this image up here, so I might end up having to do that, but cool. And then R is the tree itself. Tree. Cool. So now when I'm in view mode, I can click on these individual bubbles. I think I'm going to make a smaller version of this image though. That's ridiculous. I don't need a map that big. Anyway, we're basically a little bit over time, so I'm not going to finish up. What I am going to do is kind of really quickly show you what we got through. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the PDF. So we've been going through the locations within Winterton and putting this information in here. We just did the Winterfest tree and tied these things together. We now still have the sewers. And that's where we end up with some rolling tables, including sewer encounters, and then we also have a tavern with some information there. So that's what the full images are going to look like. Bunch of information about the tavern, then there's a workshop also, and information about the workshop, so a lot of stuff happening there. If you're using Toolcraft, the following recipes can be learned from Clovis's secret recipe book that he keeps locked in his kitchen. Winterfest spiced ale, snickerdoodle cookies, lots and lots of details of the workshop. That's a big spot. And there's the workshop itself is multiple different locations inside of it. Stable, sleigh runway, storeroom, Santa's office, laboratory, etc. And so this is actually the workshop. It has its own map, completely separate from the others, so I need to finish getting all this stuff in place. And then finally, part 3, fight with Santa. Fight, fight, fight. So there'll be a few things to put in together there, and I have to pull the monsters in. So I'd say I got through about 50% of the prep. We're running this on Friday, so you know, no worries, no concern at all, right? Like, what could possibly go wrong? It's all good though. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Honest, we'll have a good time on Friday. So do please come back on Friday. Watch us run through this. It's going to be a good time. Going to be a bunch of goblins being ridiculous and unhinged, and hopefully everybody have a great time. So look forward to seeing you all then. We do have a little bit of other things coming up. So obviously Friday we've got the big game, so show up for that. Next Tuesday at our usual, actually, it looks like an hour early. Yeah, we're going to be starting an hour early next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be running through a game of Real Fear from Ugly, being joined by Justin from Ugly Games. So that's going to be a great time, another actual play for you. And then the week after, we're going to be doing Swords Without Master. So lots of great stuff coming up. Do please give us a like, subscribe, or follow, depending on the platform you're on, and make sure to be notified about things that are happening. So do check out LoreLink. Please go to lorelink.com, check us out, subscribe to the newsletter, and we will talk to you later. Have a great holiday season, and we'll be seeing you Friday.